Well, hello and welcome, welcome to their virtual book fair. I'm Dr. Julia Royston of BK Royston Publishing, Royal Media and
Well,
Publishing.
hello and welcome,
And hold on
to
one second.
their
Hold on.
virtual book fair.
There we go. And I'm super excited. Again, welcome to the virtual book fair. BK Royston Publishing, Royal Media and Publishing. And there are several self published authors that are with me and independently published authors that are with us this evening. Super excited about all. I open up the virtual book fair to everyone and not just authors that I publish because I feel like as a literary uh, person in the literary industry that I need to provide my platform for more authors than mine. So I greatly appreciate all of you participating and all of those who are going to find out about us. So first off, I ask that you share, and then I'll provide the actual link in the comment section so you can copy that and take that link to your social media as well as to your other email list. So, super excited for all those that are going to be on and talk about their books. Now, first off, I do want to let you know that there are some wonderful resources here. Please take advantage of, please support these authors. They have put in time, work, and effort to produce and publish these books. And so we need to share, especially in the middle of the virtual, digital, and online space. We've returned to school, and but school is not like we've ever seen it before. So the opportunity to support home libraries as well as school libraries and other organizations is great. So I'm super excited about the opportunities that these authors have as well as you have to support them. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And I think I'm going to lead off. I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I've been writing now for about 15 years. I have owned BK Royston Publishing for about 12 years, and we're headed into year 13. And so, first off, you can find me on social media. I'm Julia A. Royston on Facebook. I'm Julia A.K. Royston on Twitter. I'm Julia A. Royston on LinkedIn and Instagram. And I'm Julia Royston on TikTok. Just a few TikTok videos. Nothing fun, and no, I don't dance. But just I'm everywhere you want to be on social media, and super excited for all that are here today. Now, the next thing is where you can purchase all of my books at roystonroyalbookstore.com. So I've established an online bookstore. So the books that I talk about this evening, you're able to purchase right there at Royston Royal Bookstore, and I will ship them directly to you. Okay, so first off, my latest book that I'm really super proud of. And when COVID hit, I said, God, I need to have um, something. I want to write something. And he gave me a poem. And so it starts out, Can we go outside and play today? And so it is a children's book. And then I had it translated into Spanish, and it's also translated into French. So it is available on roystonroyalbookstore.com. So Can we go outside and play today? It's fully illustrated, and it is in English, French, and Spanish. I am also working on a coloring book that's with that as well. So super excited about that. So go to roystonroyalbookstore.com for all of my books. But this is the latest one, and I'm super excited about that. It's a children's book. It reemphasizes hand washing. It reemphasizes the mask as well as social distancing. So I wanted something especially for children because that's got to be the most difficult age at this time. With the whole COVID situation. Now, the country's kind of opened up, but we're still being careful. We're taking the precautions of the mask and hand washing. All righty. So, I'm going to call on next Mr. Brooks Poetry Crittenden, if he will go next. Take it away, sir.
Yes, ma'am. How's everybody doing? My name is Brooks Crittenden, but poetry, that name was given to me 10 years ago. I've been writing since 2005, where the high school I went to introduced poetry to me, and my high school teacher just made sure it stuck. And throughout years, I just been writing. My book is called Poetry's Poezy, Volume 1, Scattered Thoughts. Um, 20 poems, a collection of poetry that I've written, very spiritual, uplifting, powerful in its way of recognizing that the Most High is who He is just praise in my own way. Um, if you go on tlkpoetry.com, that's where you can research the book. You can look it up. It's on Amazon as well. Also, if you cash at me at TLK Poetry 605, or PayPal TLK Poetry at gmail.com, I will be able to autograph you a copy and send you. And I just ask for everybody to, just share and let this, let this great book come out. And thank you, Miss Julia, for the opportunity of even, giving us the opportunity, because like a lot of people was like poetry does not sell, and I'm like, look, So Miss Julia gave me a chance, and like I said, I appreciate it, and please reach out for Poetry's Poezy Volume 1, Scattered Thoughts, many more to come. Thank you.
Brooks, I gotta have you spit one. Go ahead. Hit
Yes, ma'am.
it.
Okay, I didn't know if you wanted me to. So,
I want you to hit one. Go ahead.
I'll give you the effects of love. Here it goes. This is one of the book. This is one of the poems that's in there called "The Effects of Love." Look, she has come by once in my lifetime, showing me things and blowing my mind. Imposters try to be you, but can't do the things you do. Things she say is true. This girl would never lie to you. This girl will wrap you in her arms, but never bring you harm. For her, she would mention that she's here for good intention. This feeling this girl got to be an alien because it's out of this world. Now she's willing to do anything for this dude, but took me by surprise and had me a little confused. This thing this girl is doing, I need to know if it's a game because this girl's giving me the world. Not even know her name. It's weird because when she's gone, I can feel the pain and now can understand songs like "Can You Stand the Rain?" Now she got my heart leaping, me fiending, being in a white box room, screaming at the top of my lungs. Doctors walk past, look and laugh, saying I'm still too young. Me not seeing her is driving me weak, but it's only been a couple of weeks. Now they release me back into these streets, not seeing her. I cannot speak. Wait, this girl transformed herself into a needle so I can inject herself into me. Felt so good, like life should, but I guess that was the peak or the point, like smoking your last joint goes downhill. Emotions all over the place, like my body had a spill that night. Her sheet, ooh, I wanted to kill. Before I could do it, I choked. Woke up in the morning with a note saying, "You cannot get rid of me that easily. I will be back for you. Trust me." Signed Love. And that's one of the poems that's in the book. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate for everybody listening, and like I said, reach out and I will reach back out. It's just the support that we're all trying to get in this crazy time. Everybody knows, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. See, I knew you enjoy it. The first time I met him, he walked into the I had a pop-up store. Jamila was there with me as well as Sharonda, who's not on this evening. So we were there a solid week in the mall. We had a pop-up bookstore, and he walks in and he says, "I'm here from oh gosh, El Paso, Texas." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. What's the likelihood of him walking into this store here?" And he spit a poem right on the spot. I went live, and kind of the rest is history. So Brooks is like my nephew you love and you watching for. You like, boys, you doing but we love you and we thank God for you. And he's a young man who's all about his grind and all about his love for poetry. So thanks again, sir. Hit him up, be sure, and TLK Poetry, Brooks Crittenden, that's Crittenton. Find him on, I think it's his name in reverse, Crittenden Brooks. He's on Facebook. So be sure and look out for him. Thank you so much, everyone who's in the Zoom room. Thank you for everybody who is on YouTube coming in from Facebook. Snaps, Brooks. Okay, they're giving you snaps even in the chat. Come on through, sir. Come on through, sir. Put that book cover up one more time so they can see it. There it is. It's red. You can't miss it, baby. You cannot.
Poezy,
Oh,
Volume 1,
that's it. Volume
Yep,
1. You can't miss it.
Volume 1. Thank you.
Uh-huh. So we're gonna head on over. Let's go to Texas. Let's go out to Texas. Miss Cheryl, you want to go first? Hold on, let me unmute you. There you go. Hold on. Let me see if I can help you on your my end.
Did I do it?
You did it. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You did it. Okay, so tell us about your book and tell us where you are on social media.
Well, this is my first book. R is for reading books. And it came about because of a struggle within me, a professional struggle within me. I'm a teacher librarian. I'm a retired teacher librarian, but I was a teacher for years before I became a librarian. As a teacher, I knew what to do to get children to read. Uh, but I was my own, what do you call it, powerhouse. I did, but as a librarian, I had to collaborate with others.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing that I realized, as a teacher, I knew what to do to get children to read. But my role changed once I became a librarian. I had to grow readers. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I can do that. But so many children were coming into my library that couldn't read the books I was jumping up and down promoting. And I felt kind of a struggle. A struggle began within me. I didn't feel authentic, even though I loved the books I was promoting, but I didn't feel authentic in that I was promoting books that I knew they couldn't read. And so that's where the struggle began. And I had to try to problem solve, what could I do to address the struggle? And this is how uh, R is for reading books came about. I decided that the very foundation, well, it wasn't my decision, it's the truth. The foundation of our English language for reading, for listening, for spelling, for writing begins with the alphabet. And so I decided that I was going to do an ABC book, but I was going to relate it to a book title. And so that way I could combine those two roles together. I could explain about the sounds of the English language, simultaneously related to a book title for the children to read.
Awesome.
And so that is how I could go on and on. And then simultaneously, I could also, in my role as librarian, I could contribute to the school collaboratively. What are you doing, Mrs. Hill, in the library to contribute to the literacy or the reading crisis that we're having within our school? And so I had something. I had something in hand that I could share it with the staff, and I could share with my principal about what I was doing. Now, even though the actual book had not come about at that point, but the ideas were there. And so
now you put the ideas together. And so now we're not in the school building. We retired. Now I need you to share that with the world. So that book, R is for Reading, is available where? Where can they get?
R is for Reading
Now
books.
I don't have people in school buildings. I got them in the houses. So I need
Okay.
parents are saying, how we gonna help these babies read? I don't know how to teach them how to read. That's what the school was supposed to do. Now they in the houses. So now R is for Reading is available where?
At Amazon.com.
Wonderful.
Barnes and Nobles, BarnesandNobles.com.
Okay.
And if anyone is just wanting to say order in bulk, just wanting to get it at say a lower price, they could always email me and I could get that out to them. I have a website that's dedicated to literacy, but I don't yet have a way. I'm gonna have to get that from you, Miss Julia, how I can.
So
how
give me
I
your
can
email address. Give me your email address.
Cheryl, Cheryl, .hill, HILL, 1914 at gmail.com.
Okay, so Cheryl.Hill1914 at gmail.com. I need everybody to email Miss Cheryl Hill so that you can get your copy. R is for reading books, because you're going to need to have that guide in your house, because the teacher that's on the screen is only going to be able to do so much, correct? It's only going to be able to do so much. So thank you so much, Miss Cheryl Hill. Put that book up one more time so we can see it.
R is for reading books.
By Miss Cheryl Hill. All
And
right.
could I read a little something on the back, or we don't have
No,
time and you'll come back to me?
No, I gotta move on. I love you.
Okay.
But
What about my other book? That's later too?
yes, which one is that one?
Meet You in the Soup.
Oh, what is that one about?
This is really a childhood memoir in the picture book format. When I was growing up as a little girl, living with my grandmother in shotgun house, 3 rooms straight through with the bathroom on the back porch.
Open it up so I can see the inside, because I know the R is for reading, but I don't know this one. Open up the inside.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see the illustration.
And it was
Cute.
actually, it's also a cultural book because I grew up in the pre-civil rights years, when we were living segregated lives.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? I was a happy child. I didn't know about all that complicated stuff. And it's about me and my grandmama.
Oh, that's cute. So
great book for developing reading fluency.
Uh-huh.
Great book for writing techniques, because it doesn't matter whether you're K or college. Children's books are the best books for modeling for writing techniques. It's like a dose of greatness in small pieces.
In small bites.
Right.
Gotcha. Thank you so much. All right, let's keep on going into Texas. Dr. Pat Burke, are we having trouble with our audio? Hold on. I can't hear you. Okay, so in the meantime, I'm having trouble with your sound. It still says Dr. Burke, why don't you go out and come back in? Because somehow I see your video, but I've lost your audio. And in the meantime, let's go to Ms. Jen Noon Spalding. Unmute yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. Julia, thanks so much for the opportunity. I have been writing all my life. I've always loved to write and tell a good story. And so I retired from teaching July 1st, 2018. And right before I was getting ready to retire, God spoke to me about my retirement and let me know it's time for you to go. And then he also spoke to me about writing books about sensory issues, which is what my daughter had, sensory issues and a speech delay. So I officially started working on my book sometime right when I decided I was going to retire. So around 2017, the book came out, my first book called A Miracle at Bates Memorial came out in October 2018. And so I'm writing a series of books. Each book is about a different sensory issue. And so my prayer, my hope is to reach a lot of children and their parents, let them know that they're not alone. We all have sensory issues. Some people have, it's like the tag in the back of your shirt that's annoying, or the nails on the chalkboard, foods that don't taste quite right in your mouth. All of those are sensory issues. Like we have our 5 senses, and is oversensitive or undersensitive to the stimuli in your environment. So I want people to know your kids aren't necessarily bad. They might have a sensory issue that needs to be worked out. So anyway, so my books are available online on Amazon.com. You can also get my books on my website, which is my name. So www.jennoonspalding.com. And also my last book, and my second book, this one's called Picture Perfect Not. And this one is about sensory issues to sight. So my daughter hated having her picture taken, and she's our only, so I was taking pictures all the time, and she hated it. And so this book is about how the picture guy was at the daycare. She refused to let him take her picture. And so she had a Lily letdown. In every book, we talk about having a Lily letdown. So it's like a big meltdown because she's so upset. It's like sensory overload. It was too much. And so my last book that I've written that is a Halloween book is called Jumpaween. And so this one came out in October of last year. I do have a new book that's going to be out November the 1st. And I am going to be on interview for a podcast on Wednesday. I don't know when it's going to be made available. And I'm also going to be speaking at the Louisville Book Fair about making your dreams come true, October 23rd and 24th. And this month with the CEC conference, I'm going to be speaking to parents about the topic is I love you, but I need to have my own life. How to not allow your child's sensory issues to become your issue.
Great. How can people find you on social media?
You can find me on Facebook, my business page. It's Just Jen, Gustgin, Just Jen. And Instagram is Just Jen 9807. And Twitter is Just Jen. So Gustgin on all of those. So you can find me.
Thank you so much. Well, we're going to go to the youngest participant on tonight, Miss Kendra. Miss Kendra Krebs, would you unmute yourself, love, and tell us about?
Can you hear me?
Yes, love, we can hear you. Go right ahead.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm really happy to be here. My name is Kendra Nicole Krebs. I am 13 years old, and this is my book, Kendra Nicole's Colorful Journey in San Juan, Puerto Rico. It is my first book. It is a children's activity book, and it is in both English and in Spanish. It teaches children their colors in both English and in Spanish. This book actually started when I was 6 years old. My mom and we moved. I'm originally from New Jersey, and we moved from New Jersey to Puerto Rico. We lived there for 2 years. And while we were in Puerto Rico, I didn't speak the language. Like, I didn't know any Spanish or anything like that. And after a while, after I learned how to speak Spanish, my mom had written a book, but she didn't let me read it since I was so young. And in my head, I wanted to write a book myself. So I told my mom that, and they thought, how little kids just write, but I actually wanted to write a book, like publish a book. So my mom was asking me, like, what do you want to write about? And one of the first things I learned when we got to Puerto Rico were my colors in Spanish. So that's how my book was made. It teaches children their colors in both English and in Spanish. And at the back of the book, there are activities that they can practice to memorize their colors. They can write on it, and they can tell their own story at the back as well. And you can find me at my website at kendrakrebs.com, KREPS. And you can find me on Amazon, but I'd rather you go through my website to go to Amazon. But you can still go through Amazon as well, but I'd rather you go through my website. Me and my mom are not doing social media right now, but if we do it later, you'll see it on my website as well.
So continue to follow Kendra Krebs, and I encourage Kendra on her journey. Her mother is extremely supportive of her. I've interviewed both of them together, and it's wonderful. She's 1,000% behind what Kendra is doing, and she's a young entrepreneur. She's a young author and doing a fantastic job with her her book. It is extremely colorful and it is extremely interactive, which is a wonderful thing. So I highly recommend Kendra Krebs. Is it .com? Kendra?
Yes,
Yes.
KendraKrebs.com.
So it is Kendra Krebs, KREPS.com. So support this young author. Share it with another a young author. We talked extensively about her writing and she loves it. So I look for many, 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 many more books by Kendra. And so follow her on her website. It is monitored by her mother, so don't worry. Kendra's not out there doing weird stuff with weird people. Her mother monitors her very, very closely. But she is a young author, and I'm super excited about what all Kendra is going to do. Congratulations, love.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Burke, are you back with us? Can we hear you yet? No, I still have, I still can't hear no sound. Okay, I'm gonna keep moving. Dr. Bowles, are you ready? Go
Yes.
ahead, unmute yourself. Go ahead, Dr. Bowles.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I am Dr. Tamara Bowles, and I want to say thank you to Dr. Julia Royston for being my amazing book publisher. I am new to writing. This is my first book, Cleaning Out My Garden, and you can find this at my website, byfconsulting.org. That's B in, as in building, Y as in your, F as in future, byfconsulting.org. You can also find me on Facebook, Dr. Tamara Bowles, and via LinkedIn, Dr. Tamara Bowles or BYF Consulting.
That is awesome. Okay, so I need to see the cover. You got your book up? There it is, Cleaning Out My Garden. So that book is motivational and inspirational. It is about her life, but it will inspire and motivate all of us to be all that you can be. Be sure and look for more from Dr. Tamara Bowles coming up very, very soon and very, very shortly. She's on the move. Come on, Charlotte, North Carolina. She's doing her thing. Coming up next is Miss Sherry. You ready, Dove? Take yourself off mute and okay, there you go.
Am I on now?
Yes, love, you are. Tell us where you're from, how people can find you on social media, and also tell us about your book.
Okay, my name is Sherry Illinois, and I'm originally from Maine, but I live in Louisville, Kentucky. You can find my book on Amazon.com. You can contact me at sherryillinois@gmail.com, and you can find me on Facebook. So anyhow, my first book that I wrote is called Straight from the Heart, Jesus. And it's a book of prayers. They're very simple, very straightforward, very relatable. I try to avoid being overly lengthy. And so I actually kind of didn't know how to pray before I wrote this book. You know, my friend Melanie was, you know, listening about, well, excuse me, but she was like listening to some of the writing that I wrote. And she said, oh, you should write a book of prayers or whatever. And I was like, well, how can I do that? I don't know how to pray. And so I started writing in my prayer journal. And I found out that writing prayers came much more easily to me than saying them out loud. You know, I've always been very uncomfortable praying aloud. And you know, I would even go to, you know, prayer group meetings, and I would say the same prayer over and over again, hoping nobody noticed what they probably did, you know. And you know, but I have I've heard that many people feel the same way that I do, and so you know, I feel that my prayers are very very touching, and you know, it kind of deals with our daily struggles and maybe once in a lifetime events. You know, there are all kinds of prayers in there. Some are for mental health issues, some are for forgiveness and hope. You know, I have a prayer in there for the terminally ill who fear dying, or, you know, prayer for the mentally ill. So like a lot of different populations, you know, that you might not think somebody would think of putting in a prayer book, I guess. But yeah, so my hope is that my book will touch the hearts of many people, and make them feel less alone, in this journey that we call life. So
that is wonderful. Thank you so much. I can attest to, because I published her book, that they are straightforward, very easy to read. So you can take one every single solitary day, and you may repeat, but that doesn't matter. Jesus loves to hear us pray, and he loves to hear from us every day. And sometimes people are really uncomfortable with the prayer life, but it not only has a prayer there, but it has an opportunity for you to journal and reflect on that prayer. So reach out to Sherry Lanoy, find her on Facebook. It is Sherry Lanoy, Lanoie, and find her on Facebook, and find her on her website. Super proud of you for the website. Come on through, lady. I love it. I love it.
all right, thank you.
You be blessed. You be blessed, and thank you. All right, we're gonna keep moving. Let's go with Evangelist Tasha Dawson. How are you, love? Okay, hold on. Let's unmute you first.
Good. How is everybody?
We doing great. We doing
great. Great. Thank you so much for inviting me onto here. I'm so excited to be here. My book is called The Adventures of the Impact Kids, The Great Mass Escape. And so this is the cover. So I work in science, but I'm also a traveling evangelist. And so I've been to several different countries ministering. And so the book chronicles some of the adventures that I have been on. And this is the first one. So it is based on real life. And the book explores spiritual gifts of each of the kids. So the first book in the series of books, it does deal with the first spiritual gift that the child has, which is prayer. And so it takes place in Nigeria, and it actually chronicles something that happened while we were there visiting Nigeria and doing ministry work. And in each situation, as we go to the different countries, then the spiritual gifts of the kids are then activated. So it's a great book for kids and even adults too, because I know that sometimes even as adults, we're still trying to find our purpose. We're still trying to find out, what spiritual gifts are in us. What does God have for us? And so this first book starts off with the gift of prayer. And then the next 3 subsequent books will be faith, healing, and wisdom. And so I'm very excited. Everybody loves a global adventure. Everybody loves to travel, to meet new people. And so this book is a great way to do that, especially since we're in the house. So you can read a book and travel anywhere. And so that's what the book is. So it is culturally sensitive and age appropriate for ages 5 to 10 years old.
And they can find it where?
Yes. So you can find it on Amazon.com. And again, it's The Adventures of the Impact Kids, The Great Mass Escape. Or you can also find it on my website, TashaDawson.com.
Tasha Dawson. And that's Tasha Dawson, DAWSON.com. Yay!
Yeah.
Super excited. Super excited.
Great.
Thank you so much. Well, let's go all the way out to California. Let's head all the way to the West Coast. Miss Shelly Michelle, how are you, love? You doing good?
I'm doing well. How are you tonight?
I'm fine. So glad you we caught you at a good time in the afternoon. And
yes, it is still afternoon.
Still afternoon for you, but we running into the evening. It's getting ready. The sun getting ready to go down and get dark, but you got a lot more light. Come on through West Coast. Go ahead and read your book and tell us where we can find you on social media and where we can find your book.
Yes, again, my name is Shelly Michelle, and I'm the author of 70 Days of Happy. Life is Better When You Smile. I don't know if you can you see that?
Yes.
And so I wrote this book because there are so many times when we don't know how to take control of our own happy, where we're in the position where we give that power away. And so I wanted to write a book that showed that there were small things that we can do to not only hold on to our happy, but where we can have gratitude, something as simple as us learning how to smile, which really changes our countenance, and then it changes how other people interact with us. So I combined 70 things that I felt were really things that we could do every day. The reading is only about 2 minutes. I've included some of my own stories in here and bumping of my own head. You know, who doesn't love a good head bump story? So I included some of those things in there as well. And you can find my book at iownmyhappy.com, because that is what I want everyone to do, own their happy. And so you can download it there, or you can get a hard copy, a signed hard copy, by PayPaling me. And my PayPal is smvamp@hotmail.com. We can connect on social media. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn at my name, which is Shelly Mache. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, Dr. Burke, can I hear you now?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yay!
Can you hear me? Oh no, I can't believe it. My Wi-Fi went out, so now I had to put it on my phone, and I've not done that before.
It always happens. See, we love it. We love it. Go ahead and introduce your book and where people can find you.
Okay, I'm Patricia Burke, author of Bible Notes, chapter by chapter summary of the Bible. Can you see it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That's exactly what my Bible is. My book is a brief summary of each chapter of the Bible, from Genesis chapter 1 through Revelation chapter 22. I'm a psychotherapist in Arlington, Texas, and writing this book felt like a calling to me to make the content of the Bible easy to read and understand for people who keep telling me that they want to know what's in the Bible, but reading it is just too complicated. The wisdom of the Bible inspires people. It heals pain and sorrow. It helps us live better lives. So I love incorporating the scripture into therapy, helping people to increase their life satisfaction by teaching skills from the Bible to improve communication, relationships, to relieve stress, to work on social and spiritual issues. The Bible is just loaded with all this kind of information, which is what I included in the book, what I call the meat of the Bible. Scriptures on how to live peaceably, wisely, and productively. For example, scriptures that encourage positive thinking. Philippians 4:8 says to think on those things that are true and noble and right and pure and lovely and admirable and excellent and praiseworthy. I'm always teaching clients to think positive, to feel better, and to have peace of mind. Then there's scriptures on how to behave. Let your gentleness be evident to all. And those that comfort, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. And Christ came that we may have life and have it more abundantly. So I include these kinds of scriptures to bring out all of the different kinds of things that help people live a more satisfying life. I do hope to inspire the world with my book, which you can get in print and electronically from my website, www.burkebiblenotes.com, BURKE, Bible Notes, NOTES.com, and on Amazon, where you can read the first few chapters of the ebook, which they've entitled Study Guide, Bible Notes, Chapter by Chapter Summary of the Bible. So the cost of the book is $24.95 and the ebook is $9.99. However, for the next 3 days, you can download the Kindle version from Amazon for free. That's today through Wednesday. In exchange for this free ebook, I'm asking that you please post a quick book review on Amazon, which you can do by scrolling down to review this product, and then click on that and leave a review. So you can contact me on my website, www.burkebiblenotes.com, and you can also sign up for an inspirational message from the book to be emailed to you daily from the God's Word tab. You can also find me on Instagram under Patricia Burke and Facebook under author Patricia Burke. I'd love to hear from everybody.
I tell you what, I just want to know when Dr. Burke sleeps, because she has a practice. And I mean, when we say that's comprehensive from Genesis to Revelations, That is exactly what it is. I've seen it. It is incredible. And so if you've ever wanted it condensed in a condensed version to really help you and be your guide, like you got your Bible in one hand and you got the condensed version, really kind of synopsis, but still remaining biblically sound. It's not like, as the old folks say, it's not watered down in any way. It's just so that it is a helpful guide. That's the notes that goes along with it, like the cliff notes to the book. Okay, so now we've got the scripture is still sound like it is, and the scriptures in the Bible notes are still sound as well. But it is a great helpful tool. It is amazing to see. I'd almost want you to either have it in print or download it just so you can see, say, oh my goodness, I can't believe that lady did that. But she did. And thank you, Dr. Burke, for being with us. All right. All right. Mr. Mwalin, you're gonna be last, so you gonna take us out, okay? So let's go over to Dory. I love the glasses too. Go off mute. There you go. Okay, there you
Thank you for having me. I know most of you are looking like that does not look like the woman on the flyer, and it's not. She had an emergency, so I have the honor and the privilege of stepping in for Miss Sharonda Thompson. So thank you, Miss Julia, for allowing me to, and thank you so much for everything that you did for her during her process. I know it meant so much to her. So what is this wonderful book that you see before you? It is called Breaking the Circle Cycle of Generational Curses, Forgiveness from Within the Alabaster Box. And this is the first book of Miss Sharonda Thompson in her series, Breaking the Circle Cycle of Generational Curses. So this book is her own personal testimony of her journey through forgiveness, which for her just happened to be to overcome and walk the process of forgiveness from being molested as a child. I won't tell her testimony because can't nobody tell your testimony like you can. So I'll leave that up for you and the readers to really get in there and to take that journey with her. But one thing that I will say that set this book apart from most books that you will read about forgiveness is that normally when we look at a book about forgiveness, we look at the person who has been the product of the abuse. But very seldom do we find a book that actually walks you through the process in the perspective that the abuser deserves as much forgiveness and love as the person that they abuse. So as you read this book, not only will you get her personal testimony and her journey, but it will help you understand just how important forgiveness is, not only for you, but also for the other person, and how to go through the process of extending that forgiveness for both you yourself and that person. So if you are interested in this book, you can find it at sharondadiane.com. That's SHARONDADIANN.com. That is her website. If you would also like to book her for any conferences or anything that you may have, you can also do that there as well. Now, what I did not get to tell you is that there is a workbook journal that she has alongside of this book. I'm excited about this, and it actually goes on pre-sale tomorrow, and you can get that book, the workbook journal, and you can also get this book on the website, sharondadiane.com, as well as you can get this book, the paperback book and the ebook on amazon.com as well. Now, if you would like to connect with Miss Sharonda, you can find her on Facebook at her Facebook page, Rise Up and Heal. Up is capitalized, so that is Rise Up and Heal. You can also catch her and myself on Sundays at 7 p.m. During our podcast radio station, which is called The Awakening Radio. You can find our Facebook page with that title, The Awakening Radio Podcast, as well as our YouTube channel under the same name, The Awakening Podcast Radio Station. So be sure to look for that workbook journal, which goes on pre-sale tomorrow, and be sure to check out that book. I promise it will change your life. It will change your life. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, love. Thank you, love. Yeah, that forgiveness thing, that's a rough one for some people. And likely so. I mean, that is a human emotion, but if you need to go through that process, that is definitely a book I highly recommend. And that may make you cry and may make you laugh, and it may make you, in some parts, say, ouch, ouch. Do I really? I may be gritting my teeth, kicking and screaming, but it's a process that we all have to go through. So thank you, Dory, for stepping in the emergency. We greatly appreciate it. So look for that book, reach out, get the workbook, because you're gonna have to put in the work to get to full healing and forgiveness. All right, Miss Jamila. Miss Jamila Smith, you ready?
I am ready.
Tell me about your books and where people can find you and connect with you.
Alrighty. My first one is Sprouting Seeds, and that's a story about a great grandmother. She's telling her life history to her great granddaughter. It's in paperback and ebook, and also in audio as well. And then my second book is Runaways, and that is a teen version of, similar to the movie Set It Off, Girl Interrupted. So you have 4 teenage girls escaping a group home facility, and they're from different walks of life, but they all share like a sisterly bond. And then my third book is called Cindy, and I currently don't have because I just sold out today, but it's called Cindy, and it's spelled Cyndi, and that is a
One
story.
I already sent out. I'm sorry, I thought I had one, but no.
Oh, okay. That's the story depicted in Brooklyn, and she's going through different trials and tribulations from childhood to young adulthood. So to find these books, you can find them on my website. That's www.jamiladsmith.weebly.com, and that's spelled J as in Jennifer, A as in Apple, M as in Mary, I as in Indigo, L as in Lisa, A as in Apple, D as in David, and Smith, Smith. So www.jamiladsmith.weebly.com. Also on Amazon as well. And I do provide curbside service. So if you want to place your order, I can deliver it to you, or I can ship it out to you halfway, however it's convenient for you. And I do accept all forms of payment, so Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo as well.
Thank you so much. Jamila is in the thick of it. Jen, she's still in the classroom. So she, we're gonna put Jamila on the prayer list as she in the COVID online digital space. I'm on the retirement teacher list, so I just pray.
Thank you. I'll take it.
I just pray. I know, love. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Walim, we are ready for you, sir. Tell us about your book. And I'm sorry I missed your concert the other evening. I was trying to get the login, but I couldn't get the login, so I don't know what happened. I registered, but next time, because it's going to be another one. I know.
Oh, yeah. Plus, they're gonna put that one back up. WGBH PBS.
Okay, good. Please let me know. So tell us who you are, where you're from, and tell us about your book, and tell us a little bit about your music, please.
All right. Well, first, good evening, everybody. My name is Walim, and I think the first thing I'm going to ask everybody to do is stretch. Take a deep breath and stretch. There we go. I can even hear bones creaking with the mutes on. Y'all needed that badly.
Ooh, that's me. That's me.
But my name is Walim. I am a storyteller and poet, and I do a bunch of things. But I guess in the writing vein, I should say, I started out as a storyteller and poet. My primary vein of writing has actually been as a playwright. I've had one piece on Broadway, and about 9 pieces that have toured the United States and Canada, and a couple that made it into England and the Caribbean. And my novel is, if y'all can see it, Land of the Black Squirrels, which subtitle is a Bronx Bohème novel. It's because it's actually book 1 of a series that I'm writing, the Bronx Bohème series. And the Bronx Bohème series started out as a spoken word piece, as a storytelling piece that I first performed back in 1993. and it grew into a long form storytelling piece. And when I did it at the New York Poets Cafe in 2003, I then decided I need to put it in a different form. So thought about doing it as a screenplay, and then it evolved into becoming a novel, and then a novel series. In my other life, I'm a musician. I've been a studio session player for 35 years. I've been a producer for a number of those times. I did work for Universal and for Sony. And most recently, I'm lead singer for a band called the Groovalados. We got 6 Grammy nominations off of our album. The name of the album is Ask Your Mama. And I can proudly say that I wrote all the music for the album and was the co-producer. So my other side is as a musician, a pianist, jazz pianist, but I've also done tenure as a minister of music for Pentecostal churches and played for choirs in part of my career. But Land of the Black Squirrels is actually a novel about, as a storyteller, I deal a lot with allegory and with that branch, I should say, or style of storytelling where there are lessons hidden. Land of the Black Squirrels is about musicians and musicians growing up in the Land of the Black Squirrels, by the way, is the Bronx, New York. If anybody's ever been to Bronx, New York, we're overrun with black squirrels in the Bronx, and we've had black squirrels for about 50 years. And the particular neighborhood in the Bronx that I'm speaking of was one that experienced white flight, and often make the joke even the squirrels turn black. But it's talking about the fact that as musicians, we have mentors, we have teachers, we have parents and people who've influenced us. And of course, then the influence we have on the next generation. So this actually covers like about a 65-year period of musicians and artists who all, becomes an extended family. But then also working in some of the other values, such as do for self, Black-owned business, expanding education, owning property. These are some of the other pieces that I try to touch on in the story around the factor of the arts. So a lot of it is influenced by having been a musician for 35 years and playing all around the country, and just some of those experiences. And so far, the novel's been getting excellent reviews. Where you can find the novel, you can get it at Amazon, both in paperback and Kindle. You can get it on Barnes and Noble, both paperback and their electronic form. And if you go to my publisher's website, I don't know if I can get it on camera. I did. If you go to my publisher's website, 33pages.com, and then of course, if you put / Bronx Bohème, you can order the novel directly from the publisher, but the added feature is you get a signed, a custom signed copy if you order it directly from the publisher. But of course, through all of your normal through all of your normal means, you can also, by the way, find me on social media. I'm on Instagram as Mwalim, MWALIM. I'm also on Instagram as Bronx Bohème. I'm a traditional Gemini, so I have more than one identity, obviously. And
hey, I'm a Gemini too. Hey.
Oh, there we go.
Hey.
You can find me at Mwalim. You can find me at Bronx Bohème. You can also find me on Facebook, Bronx Bohème as well. And should also mention in yet my other hat, I'm a professor of English and Black Studies at the University of Massachusetts, Dartmouth, where I'm now going into year 17. And one little piece of history that I'm going to explain earlier, when the brother read his poem and we all snapped our fingers, the particular history of that comes from Greenwich Village in the 1950s, where most of the poetry venues were in the basements of apartment buildings. And you would have poetry readings late at night, and you would have neighbors who would complain if everybody was like, hey! So it then became how we show our appreciation. Snap, 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 snap. That then spread to San Francisco and became just sort of the way that people would applaud at poetry readings so they wouldn't disturb neighbors.
Oh, look at you. You gave us A history lesson too. Oh yeah. Yay, yay, yay. We appreciate that. See, I didn't know that. I just know that it's what we've done. That's the reason why we have a historian with us. Thank you so much, sir. I learned so much when I interviewed him, and I think his interview is coming up too, to be aired very shortly. But I learned so much. I was like, okay, I got to get off here. We got to stop talking because he just kept going and going and going with my love of books and love of reading and love of music. It was incredible. So be sure and find him at 33pages.com. Follow him on social media, and I'm quite sure in the virtual space we'll be hearing even more uh, from him, from music. If you love good jazz, you'll find that too as well. Thank you so much for being with us. All right, that's everybody. Yay, we made it. So I appreciate everybody who's been in the Zoom room, everybody who's been on YouTube, and then those two that are going to be watching the replays. Thank you very much. Feel free to reach out to any of these authors. And if you say, I don't remember what their name was, I don't remember, because I've had people do that to me as well. So reach out to me, Julia A. Royston. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. So find me, look at this face, and then find me, and I'll be happy to point you in the direction of that author so you can purchase their book. The replay will be on BK Royston Publishing a YouTube channel, as well as juliaroyston.net/live your best life, or special events for the replay. It'll be a special event for the replay. Thank you so much, authors. Hold on one second and don't leave, because we've got to get our closing selfie. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Be sure and share. Be sure and tell others. And you all have a wonderful night.